new music, because this is our first tower dungeon. Yes, there are multiple of them in this game. We need to climb all the way to the top and grab that ebony horn, or enobi horn, or eggy horn, to use the various different names of the protagonist of My Immortal.
True.
Yes, thankfully I can revise the info by looking over it in my inventory. I like the fact that you get that when you buy the info. Now, usually these tower dungeons have an NPC at the bottom floor who explains some things to you. Oh, well, goblins are back again, so that means no staff classes. Thankfully, though, at this point... oh yeah, also there are mimics as well. So yeah, we've dealt with these before, but never at the same time. But yeah, the goblins are a lot less of a threat now than they used to be, because we have so many more archetypes. Because back at the beginning, mage and healer were like half, or at least like a third of our available archetypes. But now, we have access to a lot more than that. Oh, right. The white knuckle is one of these weapons. So, it has a lot of power, and it always crits if it hits, but it has 50 accuracy. And I need to test to see if that applies to skills or not, because it does say normal attacks become critical. Might as well keep Heistman Commander if he's that close to Flame Vanguard. Climb the tower. Gonna climb the tower. That's how I've always heard this. So okay, now going into this place, I was originally thinking that I didn't need to use any archetypes that, like, specifically had weaknesses, because a lot of things in here are goblins. Also, I was just using archetypes I wanted to level up, because I was going to be killing most enemies here on the field. Well, about that, there's actually larger goblins that are about our level mixed in with the smaller ones, so we're going to have to fight in squad combat more than I expected. However, I would still very much like to get martial artists before this place is over. One other thing that I want to do in advance, though, is, and this is actually very weird, but it will make sense later, Hulkenberg needs to inherit Thief. And yeah, as has been pointed out by comments, that bulbous growth on the Thief's shoulders is based on the traditional, like, Thief loot bags from particularly Japanese media. And ideally, I would want Assassin on Stroll or Will just for a physical dark attack, but I can't do that. Well, I mean, I can, but it would take a bajillion years of grinding this tower, so let's not do that. Speaking of grinding, this tower is actually quite a good grinding spot. Also, speaking of grinding, in terms of the things you can grind for, money is the main thing you'll be grinding for here. And on that note, there are a whole bunch of mimics in this tower. Funny considering what episode of Chaotic Taste Files I just watched. Anyway, I hit you, but yeah, you don't hit me. We also need to be careful though, because I got hit by the explosion during that, so even though there was that big dramatic zoom in, I wasn't able to press the button. Anyway, yeah, Goblin Lego. Maybe it's supposed to be Goblin Liege? We have a helm we can steal from these guys. So there we go, let's take that, and the rest of this fight will just be punching them. And as usual, goblins are vulnerable to status ailments, which in this case means that you can forgetify them easily.
You never let us down.
Forward! Formidable indeed.
Let's take
Don't get sloppy.
Okay, so yeah, I am equipping that weapon that has a higher chance of missing with a normal attack. So probably best to use skills with that, because they are actually not affected by this. I have found that out because I'll just say, I actually attempted to, okay, there's Flame Vanguard. I actually did attempt to record this earlier, and it didn't exactly end well. So I decided to redo it, not least of which because of these things. So I am actually going to show fighting these things in field combat once, but hopefully we don't end up doing that again, because they're actually very annoying to fight in field combat. Gunner, Masked Dancer, Berserker. But strangely, the two bros are gonna both go for mages, because the main weakness on these things is electricity.
We're evenly matched.
And they reflect, but yeah, they either null or reflect, it's either one of those, they're both bad, all physical. These things are actually considered mimics, so I believe the Discerning Abacus will increase your power against them. Their design actually reminds me of the Australian blue-ringed octopus. But yeah, they can inflict malady on you, along with these attacks, which are very dangerous if you have anybody weak to strike. I may or may not have run into that issue in my early recording attempt at this that failed. Yeah, there we go, yeah. So, they have a lot of health, though. But for reasons you really don't want to be fighting them in squad combat. That's not good. Not least of which because you don't risk getting hit by malady if you fight them on the field. And by fight them on the field, I mean don't fight them on the field. You'll see. Why is everything dodging today? Okay, so that was more hassle than expected. Yeah, more reasons why you don't want to fight these things in squad combat. They don't even give that much in the way of rewards either.
Oh, why do I suddenly feel so nauseous? Is there a cure?
There it is, I just used it on you. So, these things, when you get near them, they will attempt to self-destruct, and that takes them out in the field without needing to worry about their annoying resilience, basically. They're way harder to kill than you'd think for an enemy that self-destructs in the field. Also, hi there, chest that's just sitting in the middle of nowhere. Clearly you are not a, yep, you are.
What now?
So for this, somebody should be a merchant. And in case of goblins, always inherit light skills on a non-healer. Trust me, you don't want to be accidentally caught by goblins while in a mage-type class here. So yeah, this is the true Imatech, the same one that was the boss of the Abandoned Tomb. But you can steal Grace Water from it here. I should actually remember to inherit Steel on highest mate this time. Yeah, it's often easy to forget to pass that skill down. Okay, you're not the one I wanted to archetype level up from that, but oh well. You want to fight all the mimics though because they give you items. We're no longer doing the mimic tricky game, don't worry, your liver is safe. Oh, I forgot to inherit anything onto your merchant, which has 3 slots, wow. Yes, this is cool. You need to pay a pretty steep price for Formation of Vigor once, but once you do, you have Formation of Vigor on any other archetype that you want, so it's very worth it. And now in here we have, oh no, we have another Goblin over here, so I think I'll take that guy out first. Just deal with his minions beforehand. He had the most powerful weapon available at this point, and still, that's not a lot of damage on a normal attack. You really want to be using skills, mostly. It's very much a classic Atlas game in that regard. Okay, one more level, and I get to have, Martial Artist on somebody. No, sorry, that's for jumping the gun. I get to have Pugilist on somebody. And that actually means I'll be able to fulfill Moore's next rank up. Nice, just uppercut that thing right in the face. I mean, then again, you always uppercut most things in the face, but still. So, dealing with that totally not suspicious chest gets you a superior enigmatic accessory. So I do have a topic to cover about a monster in this dungeon, but I'll leave that until later on. Just gotta remember that, like, some of the enemy icons in here... Yeah, triple, nice one! Some of the enemy icons in here are these pot things. These enemies are essentially Link's worst nightmare, being like a pot mimic that explodes in your face. I forget if there's ever been a pot mimic in any Zelda game. Golden Goblet, but is not, in fact, the grieving Ghost Goblet. Hello there, Elmenta! Sometimes if you're using a brawler, you will need to actually, like, run rather than do a...
There they go.
Stairs? Stairs? Thank you for despawning that. Yeah, brawler's not great
Would sure be
for fighting Elmentas at all. Probably has to switch to Gunner for those. Okay, yeah, this is why you probably want to equip anti-sleep accessories against these things. Yeah, that's not great.
Do with this.
I shall repay this favor tenfold.
Someone help her get back in the fight.
I can either revive again, or I can gold attack to steal 2 of its turns. Let's... Okay, no, I did get the press turn. Do I revive, or do I feel like I actually should rather just Great Spirit Dust, just to be safe.
Quite a boon.
My thanks.
And I'm glad that I healed.
Here.
Is 200 damage enough to kill it? It is. Okay, there we go. Yeah, one downside of using the merchant strategy. Also, you often get Hero's Leaves of Light from the mimics after you kill them, and we get another one there. One downside of using the one downside of using the Brawler strategy is that while Will and Stroll aren't consuming a lot of MP, it basically means Hulkenberg's consuming even more MP than she normally would, thanks to her needing to heal off the damage they take from their own skills.
I imagine that would be
However, I will be needing Will and Stroll's MP later. And yeah, this one right here, this one's not actually a Mimic, it's actually a regular chest, and we get the Sailcloth Cape. Magic plus 4. I mean, considering that Hulkenberg's our de facto mage at this point, Maximilian armor's really good though. As is that Chimera armor. Don't think she can even use that as a knight. Okay, Brawlers can't use heavy armor anyway, and I suspect that you can't either. We do have those Hero's Leaves of Light, though, and weirdly, I have to use them on Hulkenberg's Thief. And that's all I need, though, because that gets me Moodle. I'm not opposed to having Healer at rank 20, just so that I can actually start working on getting Cleric to learning Healing. Of course, the old man would complain about stairs. However, I don't have complaints about this next room. What I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to actually be putting Merchant on Will.
merchant.
I guess highest may can go for Assass, although I would like to unlock General, so maybe let's equip that just to rank it up. And normally I'd equip the Archetype Experience items, but they're not going to be doing anything here since that only affects squad combat. Because in this room is a whole bunch of... I want to take out these exploding pots first. Otherwise, they'll enter the battle with the bigger goblins, and that usually doesn't end well. So yeah, what I want to do here is, I want to not destroy the crystals, and instead, play the runaround, and run around this room in a merry dance, whacking all of the normal, all of the normal goblins, while avoiding the big goblins that I can't field kill.
That was brilliant.
And this is gonna get me a lot of money. So, I'll be right back.
I imagine that would be good.
Oh, right, yeah, you have to be careful about going too close to them because your teammates will automatically lock onto them if you hit the crystal. So, yeah, they went and broke one of them. That's unfortunate, because once the crystals are broken, they won't respawn for the remainder of the dungeon visit. I don't exactly enjoy this kind of grind anyway. How much have I made so far? Up to 70,000-ish.
Hey, great job.
And that's always a problem. Because, yeah, they can actually have those pot octopi in the fight, and I honestly don't think this is worth it. I want to just try and run. If I can actually get out of here. It is such a pain that failing to escape consumes your entire turn, though. I found that the majority of fights where I end up dying have been failed attempts to escape. Because, yeah, just the sheer number of press turns these enemies have on you, and plus the fact that, like, the pots are just so annoying to kill in squad combat.
My archetype's abilities feel stronger.
Okay, there we go. Stroll has mastered Brawler. And so, with that, we can get in the next level, Pugilist. I like the black and gold color scheme that it has.
And of course.
Also, that pose is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of interesting, okay. Feeling rather than reason. I guess that it, but Stroll's also quite smart. As I said, he has most of the brain cells in this party. Well, yeah, let's go over to that. But, I'm just thinking... You know what, at this point, I may as well just break the crystal. I mean, I'll get the remaining goblins, but I think I will break the crystal now. It's like, just... Might as well. There you go. Okay, you're still alive.
Great job.
Unfortunate. Let's actually... You know what? I'm actually going to go to Gunner.
Take this.
You made a huge mistake jumping back. More of those pots, though. You know what? I don't care.
I've come down with something. Do we have any medicine?
I do. I would seriously love a world where just... Hi there! It's like, hey guys, can I be in the camera? But yeah, I would seriously love a world where you could just use one medicine and magically you would be completely cured of anything. But yeah, let's get rid of that. And then, yeah, I do have the Firmus ointments. So, this next floor, you might notice there are red enemies here. That legitimately terrified me. I did not expect you to come up the stairs. I don't want to be dealing with you and the other things at the same time.
What now?
Okay, I suppose I can inherit Kande onto Will and Stroll. Yeah, always gotta remember that upgraded archetypes count as different archetypes, so you have to set their inherited skills separately from their lower forms. Seriously, I was gonna leave you alone! But you just decided, no, I'm gonna chase you up the stairs because I really want to put my axe in your face, and so I put my crossbow in your face. I mean, I think I've shown Megado before.
Commendable bearing.
Yeah, as you can see here, okay, no, they only now strike, so slash and pierce are fine. Okay, I was just remembering him screwing over brawlers. Okay, good, the other one left is still stunned. But it's very rare you even get the opportunity, like, that's probably part of why these things are so deceptively, no rare items, so deceptively hard to kill in squad combat is just because, like, because they self-destruct from the field, you're really never going to be able to stun them, so they'll always have turns on you, they'll always have their full health at the start of a fight. I mean, honestly, one thing that I've kind of noticed lately about, like, Atlas games is, like, you'll notice in the last part, not the last part, the part before, so, that Manticore, that I fought in the forest, when it ambushed me, I was in serious trouble, but when I ambushed it, the fight was nearly effortless. I do feel like preemptive strikes, the general mechanics of them, are kind of broken in the more recent Atlas games. Like, I think that's actually a genuine problem that a lot of them have. Okay, no, you're still going around. So yeah, gotta pick up this gold beetle here. That's our gold beetle of the day. I wanna blow up that pot before I deal with the big guy over there, because otherwise my normal, my field attack might lock onto the pot instead of the thing. And it hasn't even noticed me. How fitting for the enemy of the day, ogres, but I'll explain that after I do my classes, because I need to use Dark here, and that's actually the reason why I got Thief on Hulkenberg, was to inherit Dark. So let's inherit Moodle. I would really appreciate Physical Dark, but what I can actually do in lieu of that is... Yeah, there we go, we have access to Mania Bullet. So, Mania Bullet to set up weaknesses, plus... Pugilist is not actually going to be that great here. I think I'd rather have Swordmaster. Oh, got some, a lot of heroes fruits out of that, so let's see. I suppose... Like, I could raise up Pugilist with that, but I really need Swordmaster to be higher level, because Swordmaster's really behind, I feel, for me.
A new ability.
Okay, there we go. We have Rising Slash. Pretty much all AoE attacks for a Sword Master, but still. Okay, good, you do have Slash Boost inherited. So, this thing right here is an Ogre.
Hope this hits.
You really do not want it to ambush you. This is Metaphor's equivalent to an Ogre. It has an enormous amount of HP. You can steal the Ogre's grip from it. It has a lot of very strong strike attacks, along with Warcry, Ear-Splitting Shriek to inflict daze. It can charge and also a Heat Riser. Oh yeah, have I actually gone over this, like, the mistranslation of charge in this game? It says it only works once per battle, but that's not true. It works the same way charge and concentrate normally do. Oh, sorry. In that, like, it applies to the next attack. And I am gonna Sukukaja Haizme, because if you're gonna use buffs against a normal enemy, make it these things. They're actually really, 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 really dangerous. I need Haizme to stay alive, so I'm also gonna defense buff him. And while you are stunned, let's go in with the formation of Vigor. Just so I know you won't take advantage of me being in the front row. I will talk about my tangent for the day, which is ogres, but after I beat this thing, because this is quite a tough enemy. They're resistant to slash, strike, and pierce. So my strat here, beyond lurking Nightblade on Haizme, well, lurking Nightblade and or medium slash. I guess I'll just beyond. Lurking Nightblade on a Haizme and also Assassinate is to use Mania Ball to give them weaknesses, and that's why that's why I was saving my MP on Stroll and on Will. Do I have any good synthesis I can use here? I can debuff defense, I suppose, but that is going to take up all of my turns. And I have some dark items, but I'm not going to use them. Okay, so the plan with Lurking Nightblade is to lower its accuracy to the point where it's going to hopefully not hit us that much. And you kind of don't want to get it down to low health without killing it, because if you do, then it will start going really berserk. Would have appreciated a dodge there, Haizme, but oh well. Okay, we're fine. Well, its axe actually looks a lot like some axes used by orcs in Warhammer 40k, you know, orc with a K. And yeah, you have Mudor, so we can actually set up that weakness. Let's put your accuracy out even further. I found this is actually surprisingly ineffective, though. Many a bullet's a lot. I should probably save this for the boss of the dungeon, which is basically just a really big Orgo. Okay, decent damage there. One more of these, plus maybe Assassinate should do it. I really wish that I could increase my dark damage on it via Hex, but according to the guidebook, Hex doesn't work on it. It's the one ailment that doesn't work, so that sucks. I thought I had something clever going there. How did Haizme lose that much MP in this dungeon?
There they are.
Yes, indeed, there they are. So, ogres. Ogres are very common in fantasy, but also in fairy tales. Okay, I'm gonna start with the formation of Vigor, because if I'm using these buffs against any regular enemy, it should be this. But, okay, yeah, let's just put that up on Haizme. I really need this thing to miss as much as possible. Stroll can't really do anything without my weakness set up with, you know, of course, recover from stun. Yeah, these things recovering from stun too early is like a pain, but it's likely because you have to hit them a lot of times before they go down. It's kind of like the archetypal, you know, big, like, easy to hit, but takes a while to get KO character from fighting games. Which, in a way, like, ogres are very much that archetype of that, you know, strong brute who's also very stupid. But the thing about ogres is, and I really don't want, like, it's hard for me to give this part of the topic because, Yikes, do these things hit hard. Yeah, I feel like you're not really supposed to be in this dungeon this early. Hulkenberg being forgetified is really bad. Oh yeah, I bought a bajillion of these just so that I can pure reflect when I needed to. Moodle again. And it's just, I do find that, like, despite me debuffing their accuracy significantly, these things are very weirdly accurate. I'm not sure why, but they hit really often. Okay, do I have a one ally? Okay, all allies. Yeah, we can do this.
My thanks.
So, I said in an earlier video, when I was talking about goblins, I said that, that there was one particular type of fantasy monster that I found out may have had problematic origins, and that you wouldn't guess which that was. Well, it turns out that it might. I say might because, it's really just one note, and it is on Wikipedia, it doesn't have a citation, but it does come from the first recorded instance of the word ogre. Is it a French poem about Percival of the Knights of the Round Table? And it mentions so the word ogre has French origins. Many think that it comes from Orcus, the Roman god of the underworld, which is also where the term orc comes from. So yeah, fantasy writers and monsters really liked Orcus for some reason. I mean, I don't blame them. Shin Megami Tensei did too in Strange Journey. 3 agility debuffs. I should be able to finish with Moodle here. There we go. And there, the word ogre was used to refer to the people who inhabited Britain before King Arthur arrived and conquered it. And with the fact that ogres are frequently stereotyped as being, in particular, unlike orcs, which are often quite industrious and militarized, ogres are a fantasy creature that is always stereotyped as being incredibly stupid. They're often stereotyped as... There's more of them. Oh boy, there's more of them. I do not like this. And they're stereotyped as being big, dumb, all brawn, no brains, and also primitive.
I'm right here.
Like, the original orcs in Tolkien were not primitive. In fact, the whole point of orcs in Tolkien was they were industrialized. In fact, Tolkien's orcs very much represent, like, the evils of exploitative industry, in my mind. Particularly Saruman. This is a gamble. Do I Lurking Nightblade knowing that that potentially puts it out of stun? Or do I take the guarantee? You know what? I'm gonna take the guarantee because I need to heal Heisme's MP anyway.
Allow me to use this.
Okay, we've debuffed you to minimum. Let's just hope that that's enough to hold up, because whenever they get to this low HP, okay, no, wait, they usually always use Warcry at least once, but is it gonna do the thing? No, it's just using Slam Shatter. Ugh. I have Heisme double agility buffed, and you triple agility debuffed, and yeah, they're accurate. Okay, maybe they just have an accuracy bonus of being higher level than us. I feel like that's probably what's happening, because Heisme is double agility buffed, and they're triple agility debuffed. So they really should not be hitting this often, but they are. Do I... it's the only way that I get an extra press turn, and that will probably be able to kill this thing, so let's just do this.
Hold yourself together.
You are triple agility debuffed. You are triple agility debuffed. How did I miss you? And yeah, this is what happens if you get them onto low health. They use that, they Heat Riser, they charge, and then... Okay, it takes aim, but because this is a hard mode, you have to attack. Okay, it's just single target, that's fine. I was worried about it using Slam Shatter, which would have been really bad, but okay, it did not. They often don't use their multi-target attacks while... Oh, Heisme just died, right, okay. They often don't use their multi-target attacks while they are, I'll just go for Assassinate because that's stronger, there we go. While they're charged, but, you know, you can never be too careful. Speaking of too careful, yeah, exactly. Yeah, these are... I must have come here on my first playthrough much later on in this arc, because, yeah, I'm having a much harder time with these enemies than I usually do. I've also noticed that my Mania Bullet strat is not working all that well, so instead I'm going to go for, did somebody just get an Archetype level out of that? I think they did. Instead, I'm going to go for Merchant Will to try and crit. I am starting to run a little bit low on MP though, and I really don't want to have to use my Arcane Dragon Blood.
There they are.
Feel greater power.
Okay, oh boy, the fact I'm in a melee archetype right now is not good. Gotta pay very close attention to the chings, there we go, and let's go! But yes, as I was saying, so ogres definitely bear resemblance to a lot of the stereo, in particular, because also not only are ogres, again, considered to be stupid and primitive and warlike, but they also are portrayed as living on the fringes of society, of being like outcasts.
Come forth, royal soul.
And also, oh right, they eat people as well, they're cannibals. All of those are common stereotypes that conquerors attribute to the people they've conquered to justify their conquests. So, it does feel to me like if any fantasy creature has problematic origins, it probably is ogres. But ogres quickly became more the purview of fairy tales than of general, like, fantasy fiction. They're very common in the fairy stories, in French and Italian fairy stories. In particular, the same collection of stories from Perrault, I think it was, that also contained Cinderella. Oh, this is problematic. You are going to... Actually, hang on. Hang on, I don't really care about the turn bonus, I care about the fixed damage. Because if I do that, and then if I go for Mudor, I think that kills you? No! Oh, that's terrible, because you're now in the, charge phase. Right, yeah. No, you're not charging. Okay, that's fine. Okay. If the regular ogres are giving me this much trouble, though, I am very, 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 very worried about, let's just chuck a low-level item that I don't really care about. I guess a Fire Fang. There we go. If the generic ogres are giving me this much trouble, I dread to think how much trouble the boss is going to give me. Holy crap, I'm going to need Heisme to be very much charged up on the Commander archetype in terms of MP so that I can use a lot of, I think I'm going to need a lot of defense buffs. I also need some form of buff cancelling, though, because, according to the informant, that's how you shake it out of its charge attack. Okay, there's another one of these crystals. Right. Let's blow up the pots first. Oh, of course it does summon the big goblins, which means using this as a money farm is not exactly super lucrative, unfortunately, just because those things I can't field kill them. So, if you are at a high enough level to field kill those things, this does make a very effective money farm. But as I am not, I'm gonna go ahead and use my tried and true strategy of, can't hide from my sniping, as Nico from Arc Rise. I have to actually play Arc Rise Fantasia one of these games. I hear that, like, gameplay-wise, it's extremely complicated. But yeah, I really need to play Arc Rise Fantasia at some point. Because it's a pretty good game, like, in spite of its really silly voice acting, from what I hear. Okay, let's take you out. Never, ever, ever fight those things in squad combat. As I said, I am extremely nervous now. I've been inflicted with IRL anxiety because, oh boy, yeah. The boss here is essentially just a really, really, really big version of those other ogres, and unless I double gunner and stack 2 copies of Heat up, because this way I can chain Mania Bullets. Heisme obviously has to stay an assassin, and Hulkenberg probably needs to draw attacks with her guarding. HP-wise, I'm looking fine. It's MP that I'm worried about, especially on Heisme. So he'll take that 1 Magla injection, and then you 2 take Magla potions, and I need Will to be higher on MP too, so this could go badly, let's see. Okay, yeah, I can go to Academia and, do I end with that, or do I do that now? I think I'll end with that just so I have the whole dungeon run in one continuous path, and then I'll rank up more. Although granted, ranking up more will give me some archetype items that I could use here. So maybe not. I'm gonna try going for it. Okay, let's go.
This place.
Yeah, there's something in there. We're in for a fight, alright. I am actually very scared, as you can no doubt tell. So yeah, it's a big blue ogre with a spiky club. I guess this one resembles the Japanese Oni more. A lot of people like to consider Oni to be the Japanese equivalent of ogres, to the point where Oni is often translated as ogre, and they are different in a lot of ways. In Dungeons & Dragons, they make Oni spellcasters to differentiate them, which is kind of funny because in the original Puss in Boots story, which is one of the earliest and most famous ogre stories in fairy tales,
They're weak to darkness. Let's blot him out.
yeah, level 38, this is going to be rough for me at this point in the game. In fact, it might be harder than me doing the Caradrius early. But I guess we'll see. So, let's start by using Formation of Vigor, so that we can all jump back to the back row. And now, as much as I would like to set up the Mania Bullet now, I won't be able to have Stroll go in for it. Oh, Mania Bullet costs Heismay's SP though, which is a little problematic. But yeah, I'm actually going to use a Binding Rope here to start on debuffing its accuracy.
I shall fight as the noble I am.
And Stroll will now let's go for a Corrosive Acid to get an attack, defense debuff before Hulkenberg goes in with the Moodle for the damage there. Yeah, this thing has a lot of health to eat through, but let's go for Lurking Nightblade to stack up a second agility debuff there. Like its minions, it's going to go for Warcry, so I am now down to -1 defense and only +1 attack. Oh boy, that's not good. And once again, it's double agility debuffed, and yet it's not missing. I do think there's something to do with the level disadvantage here. But I'm gonna go for that, and you know what? I am gonna go for the Ghoulstone here, just to give myself an extra press turn. I'm gonna do this to give myself an extra press turn. Heismay's gotta have to debuff its agility again. So yeah, it's now down to max stacks of agility debuffs, and I need to heal Stroll right now. I also really need to debuff defense, because the difference between it being defense debuffed and not defense debuffed, gunners are weak to strike, aren't they? Oh no, they're weak to slash, so that should be fine. Okay then. Right, I would like to have its defense down again. Let's Corrosive Acid. And then, yeah, Hulky goes after Strolly. We are starting to stack more damage on, and now we can go for Assassinate for the more damage. Okay, it's getting close to being half down, but half down is still nowhere near good enough. Okay, oh, right, we're defense down. That's why this is so bad. That I am saving for later. I can get a triple defense debuff going.
I can't afford to hold.
Stroll.
Not now.
You know what? Let's go ahead and oh no, I don't have any other of those items left. Yeah, Stroll's just gonna have to use a resisted pierce attack there. Hulkenberg, Mudor, you, and then Marakaja to there. I would like to have Shelter Formation, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case. Heismay's in the front row, isn't he? I should have moved him back, because then Barden's bonus takes effect. Okay, so it's doing this. Okay, yeah, Heat Riser, and it should be charging, and I think it's going to take aim. So, I can only do this once, unfortunately, but I am losing the attack buff is unfortunate, but if I use the Amnesty Talisman to get rid of its buff, I think that's going to make it squander its turn.
But you can't escape. Give me your aim.
But you can't escape, give me your aim. Let's go Mania Bullet on you. That costs 2 turns. But I can Moodle. And Heismay can now... Okay. I think I'll Lurking Nightblade to stack up on the Agility debuff. Kind of playing it slow and steady with these things here. Yeah, Heat Riser is dispelled, so... Now it just immediately cured itself there. Unfortunately, now it's going Reckless Charge, and that actually severely scares me. But okay, let's go for a Chained Mania Bullet. Okay, that's good damage. That's very good damage, because now I can chain a second Mania Bullet, except Heizme is no longer able to do Mania Bullet. But I mean, I can Wild Barrage still, I suppose. Okay. It's getting low. Can I actually finish you this turn? Let's see. I have enough for Assassinate. Are you in the front row? You are still in the front row, much to my stupidity. Because, yeah, the thing is, often with ogres in fiction, they are defeated by outsmarting them, which is how the ogre in Puss in Boots was. Yeah, what I was saying is, like, one of the most famous ogres in fiction is the one from Puss in Boots. And that one was a magic user, specifically a shapeshifter. So the idea of ogres not using magic is actually kind of wrong. And that ogre was defeated by Puss in Boots flattering him and saying, you know, if you're so cool, I bet you could turn into a mouse, right? And the ogre's like, sure, I could turn into a mouse. And then Puss in Boots is like, okay, that's good. You do know cats eat mice, right? Chomp.
Deal with this.
And there we go. Wow, okay. Accidentally caused a one-liner on that one. So, I didn't actually, of course you get the strength mask from the ogre. I didn't actually, end up having to, like, die in that fight. I want to say restart, but I did actually have to restart that fight once, but that was just because I was clumsy and forgot some of my buffs. So yeah, we have the Enobi Horn now. Or sometimes called the Eggy Horn.
Now then.
Now, it's important to choose I want to explore more, because there's actually more to this dungeon. There is, in fact, a door behind the ogre. You know, it's kind of interesting. Defeating an ogre that's ruling an abandoned, like, castle, that's actually what happened in Puss in Boots. That's what the cat was doing to get his master, a poor son of a miller, a title of nobility, of being like, okay, yeah, I killed this ogre, you can have his house now. And a lot of media has fun with that and makes Puss in Boots some kind of, like, racist against ogres, and the ogres were just minding their own business. I think Shrek goes with that. Like, I like the idea of they tie Puss in Boots to Shrek by essentially having him hired to assassinate Shrek, being like, yeah, you've dealt with ogres before, so yeah, you go kill this ogre. But now that we've done that, let's go to Academia and turn in our more request. After he reminds me about the DLC.
You don't say.
I do like the fact that even though more is a quest-based link, you do need to pay attention to your responses for more mag.
Alright.
Is this going to give us imagination? No, I think we're still quite far off the next imagination rank. Like halfway or so.
Did I?
And yeah, this is halfway through Moore's ranks, so he's starting to remember a bit more. Oh no, this one's actually 5, so we're more than halfway through.
What happened? Not quite.
Unpleasant.
What?
Beyond getting imprisoned in here and being killed? Huh.
It appears that
It'll be fine.
Well, I suppose you do have an eye for people now. But that is interesting.
apologize.
I guess Moore's original novel was written out of a lot of naivety, and it would make sense that he once was betrayed by somebody he called a friend and couldn't see it coming. Another's will. I mean, the king did imprison you here. Maybe he originally wanted you to research archetypes.
Just trust me.
I thank you.
I mean, considering Atlas's track record with Masters of Not Velvet Rooms, and betraying us, that already makes Moore kind of sus from the start, but so far he seemed trustworthy.
Often I find your words resounding in me.
Yeah, I really don't use Seeker that much. That will change as we get a few more party members. The next 2 party members do make use of it quite well. Yeah, so now we have to cultivate the General, which is kind of why I really should be getting a move on and maybe using some of these archetype items on... Yeah, you need to get General to rank 15. So yeah, I'm going to be definitely pumping up Heismay with archetype experience items for Commander. Oh, while we're here, Cat. Because we don't really come here enough. Hi, Cat. Cats all know that they're cute. Even those hairless ones. Oh, 5 Leaves of Light. Is this going to be enough to get Heismay maxed out on this? It's going to come close. Oh, that's very... I kind of want to stay here and get that one maxed out. It's so close. Except I destroyed all of the crystals. Dang it. So now we can head back to the bottom of the tower.
Leave it to me.
Oh, right, yeah, you have unallocated stats. Oh.
I see the enemy.
You. Okay.
Keep this up, everyone.
Good amount of archetype experience. There it is! I don't know why I'm getting the tutorial for that now, because I already did that back in the Martira dungeon, but yeah, we now have... Actually, this is a perfect time for where I am in this playthrough, because Heartbreak Stratagem is super useful in the Caradrius against one of the fights there. And Heismay also gets some more endurance for that. But more importantly, that means we can start working on General. That does cost a lot of mag, but we do have a bit of a discount from Barden. Yeah, the whole Commander line is very heavily inspired by archetypes of Japanese, particularly Sengoku-era generals. The ones who use that kind of signal fan. You might recognize that from Kanbei in Advance Wars if you've been following my channel. And also Shigen from Pokemon Conquest, which I was actually planning on doing on my channel at one point, but I don't really know if I will anymore. Okay, well, let's dump all those heroes' fruit into General.
My power swells forth.
Oh, I am glad that I went here, because I missed a non-mimic chest.
Wow, here we go.
And that's better than what I had before on Commander, right? Yeah, I had the Leader's Semaphore. So yeah, this one, and it can be purified at a church. Good thing I didn't miss that. I'm gonna do a sweep of this dungeon in case I missed anything else.
What now? Brace yourselves.
Farewell.
I can actually use the expression "fare thee well, Ogre," and it will make complete sense. And that should conclude our business here, so let's head back to town, and that means that we are going to be finally returning from our long journey. And next time, if I am reading the guidebook right, yes, they infiltrate the Caradrius tomorrow. So that's what I'll be doing too, but I am going to be using the footage that I took from my original run just because I like that footage so much, and also I just wanted to show that I was able to do the Caradrius underlevel, because like some of those fights were actually pretty exhilarating, and it would suck to lose that take. So really, overall, it's going to be pretty similar. The main thing that I have different on this run is a couple of items from those dungeons, as well as the general archetype. Heartbreak Stratagem does help a lot, but as long as you have at least two... as long as you have at least two Matter Break hammers, and there's a way to get one of those by talking to the soldier in front of Crigante Castle in Martira. You'll get a free one of those during this arc. As long as you have at least two, you should be fine. So yeah, I will see you all next time as we infiltrate the Caradrius, and then after that, we will be moving on to finishing up our business in Brylehaven and raising some more bonds as we wait for the soiree. So, see you all then.